Okay, so you guys bear with me. My dad was telling me that my glare in the glasses was showing up, and it was. So I ordered some Blu-ray, glasses to block the glare from my camera. However, we are going to look at um, the next step, fear and doubt, facing it. We are in the last phase of the retrograde, and it's going direct. As it goes direct, generally Saturn will give rewards. And the reward is predicated on how we face something that has a fear factor connected to it. I was talking to a young lady the other day about um, how we release and what it looks like for each individual, and that is predicated on your own one-to-one session. So I want to get my music started. I should have had it, but for some reason, I've been a little bit all over the place with Mercury retrograde, but also focused, like a lot of things happening. I don't know if you guys are experiencing that, but let me get my music going. I also want to say I was hearing intuitively the Temptations, um, the kind of girl you've always been looking for. Um, she's so easy to forget, but treat her like a lady is what the song is. Treat her like a lady, and so I think that that's a theme. Even if you are a female that challenges your male energy, your relationship is predicated on peace, really. And as you all can come into peace. You can have a balanced relationship. The aspect of relationships is about masculine and femininity. When we talk about relationships, what I've always taught is that relationships was something that was built from the foundation of the earth. And that's why there is a need for structure. And here is Saturn. So, treat her like a lady, treat him like a man. Don't be his mother, and man, don't be her father. That's some deep stuff, but from our biology, there's sometimes when we can step over into the parental areas when we're in relationship. You don't want to parent your spouse or your partner, because if you get into that, what happens is you're going to have to shift, because by the universal laws, versus nurture, nature versus nurture says that a man has things that he does in a family, and a woman has things that she does in a family. Thus, we have feminine goddess, and we have the God, which is the masculine divine. Okay, so my music, here we go. Where is it? Coming up. Just give me a minute. And this is real life when you are dealing with a retrograde. And sometimes you're not prepared, but sometimes it's okay not to be prepared, right? So I'm going with classical today. Okay, I like that. So you guys, here we go with, if I put my glasses on, just say, okay, we got you. Huh? All right, so after shame and after guilt, it's still a work in progress. If you just started to realize that you were ashamed of something about your life or something you've done, even if it was some from the past, it's still a work, because we're working on things. We're developing a new way of thinking, of feeling, and understanding that we don't have to feel like that forever. So here we are with Saturn. These are Saturn's teachings. I got to wear my glasses. I can't do it. So, as Saturn prepares to go direct in the next few weeks, the energy around all of us begins to shift. You begin to feel lighter. You begin to feel like, okay, I can enjoy myself. So Saturn is the master teacher. Generally, they say that he's an archetype of a male, but I think that there's some femininity going on here. So Saturn is the master teacher, the planet of karmic accountability. So everyone is coming to a karmic completion right now. If you ever done any kind of meditation, you may have picked up that, there's an ending coming. It doesn't mean that someone is transitioning or you. It means that there's a death to life. So Pluto is playing a part in this. When Saturn slows down and then moves forward again, it gives us a rare window to examine, again, the fears that have been shaping our choices. Fears that we didn't have the strength to face while guilt and shame were still clouding our vision. So it is a process of work that we release these energies that actually block us from being blessed or from being our highest good or doing our highest good. Galatians 5 around 19 to the end tells us what will block us, and then what gets us into the blessing field, which is the seeds of patience, love, kind, the fruit of the spirit, love, kindness, and peace, joy. Those are your blessing seeds to plant. So Saturn gives you fear factors. It's like a haunting fear around you, or a fear that says, you've got to change this. Look at this, look at this, look at this. When Saturn slows down again and then moves forward, it gives us a rare window to examine fears that are coming up and what we need to do with them. Maybe around the last of October, I was having some feelings about some things that had happened in my life. And what I did is I began to meditate more. I was able to spend time with my mother because she has been ill. And that time, it also gave me time for myself. So moving forward, fears that we didn't have the strength to face while guilt and shame were still clouding our vision. When we think about that, what's clouding your vision? What's making you see or perceive things differently than what they really are? The moment, this moment where Saturn asked us, what do you doubt about yourself? And these are questions you can take down. Where do you still minimize your power? That's a number one thing. Why are you minimizing your power? What are you afraid will happen if you truly step into your authority? These are things that we have to ask, because we will have lessons where people are actually being put in position to challenge us to get to this place of, what are you afraid of? It can come from work, it can come from your relationships, it can come from friendships, but you're challenged to stand up and be your greatest you. So what else stories is trying to rise up one more time? I mean, you could look back in your childhood and be honest and say, what did I struggle with, or what did I struggle with in school? These are areas that will come up in your psyche for examination. And Saturn is saying, are you still afraid? Because listen, I'm not here in Pisces for another 3 years. I am going to be done with Pisces. This is a place where this is over. Organizations that have old structures, they're going to be lost. You know what I'm saying? If you're working for an old structure, you're going to be lost, because that's under Pisces. The only thing that a person can do in this time with Saturn being there is evolve from the fear factors of, if you're having marriage problems, because the marriage institution is there, the institution of penitentiary. This is all about institution. So you could be institutionalized in your own everyday walk if you don't let go of fear, because fear can drive people into rage and it can drive them crazy. You get my picture. Now, this is a deep lesson, but I'm giving you some truths. I'm adding Bible with this here message, and I'm also giving you the astrological concept. We are at the end of a 30-year cycle that Saturn had been going around our whole chart. And that means that we could have created negative karma that we're going to have to face as he goes back into, or Saturn goes back into Aries. The thing is, wake up and find your accountability. Accountability means that we own our wrong. and we begin to right our wrongs. So release the fear or repeat the lesson. Because if we don't release the fear, then what happens is the lesson is going to be on the table in Aries season as Saturn comes in, because Aries is the first house on your natal chart and mine. So it's going to be right there, and it's going to deal with your Aries energy now. And that fear is going to be telling you you can't make it because you don't have the confidence and you don't have the inner a warrior to battle through things. So Aries is about your confidence. It's about who you are. Who do you see you are? The I amness. That's the Bible. Aries is about I am what? Am I afraid or am I not afraid? Okay. So I am blessed and highly favored. I am triumphing, and I am victorious, right? So release the fear. And fear can no longer hide inside of old narratives, especially if you start practicing affirmations concerning fear. Doubt can no longer disguise itself as protection. Doubt can be where we put up walls and we really don't want to be around people because, in my case, I have been a loner. I don't think that people understand me in many cases, but it's okay that they don't. I'm still in there now, and I'm understanding that it doesn't matter what they think or if I'm strange to people, because I'm strange to myself, but I get the work done and I get it in life. Okay. So the season is about confronting your shadow, shadow work. I have a book on shadow work. You could email me at kim.warner27@gmail.com. It's very, very intelling. 2 other young ladies or 3 other young ladies helped me to write this book, but it talks about the shadow and the chakra system. And the chakra system helps you to evolve. So moving forward, it's not about blaming yourself or anyone else. It's really about accountability. How did I have this baby by this guy that doesn't take care of him? Or how did I get with this baby mama and all this drama? It was your choice. It was your choice. Now, how do you get out of it? You stop blaming and take accountability for what you're supposed to do, no matter how hectic he is or how chaotic he is, or her, how chaotic she is. It's about finding how to get peace and mature is what it is. Anyone that is afraid really could look at their inner child, because children are afraid, and that's why they have parents as protectors. And so as we grow, we have to begin to understand what protection is for ourselves and in relationships. And this goes far, because if my feeling, if I don't feel supported and protected, I'm going to act a certain way, even though it may not be the truth. My childhood being or feeling unprotected has nothing to do with my growth, although I can manifest people in my life like that. But my childhood is where I have to go back and refocus and heal the inner child of loneliness or neglect or feeling unsupported because I didn't get the support, right? And so the inner work that prepares us is higher love, deeper soul relationships, new financial stability, spiritual authority, a grounded, peaceful life. And as you release these final layers, you step into the version of yourself who no longer negotiates her or his work. The thing about this is learning that, okay, if I don't know how to budget well, I need to go and learn how to budget. If I have bills that are extended beyond my ability or what, the finances that I have coming in, then I need to find out how to budget. I had that problem. I thank God for people in my life that have showed me, and even the Bible. I recite Deuteronomy 8:18 very often. It's one of my favorite, I would say, prayers. It says that it is God who gives us the wealth. And it's true. It is God who gives us the power to obtain wealth. And so with that being said, you either think in that foundation of spirituality, or you keep trying in your own power with nothing being spoken to transform it. The word is active, but we must be active with it, which means that whatever we want to change, we have the power to, but we got to use tools. They're spiritual and earthly tools. Okay, so I hope you guys like this. I hope you give me some likes, and you should subscribe, and you share. And I hope you comment. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.